They call us biased because we question the integrity of these individuals, because we stand by principles. And they say that because you only ever criticize this, the Democrats or these organizations, you are biased. Yet when it comes down to it, we can see just how fake the whole thing was. And of course, once again, we are all proven correct. You see, I was actually a big fan of the Me Too movement. There were excesses and there were problems. Some innocent people got accused. We want to make sure that doesn't happen. But boy, were many of us happy to see these disgusting monsters, you know what I'm talking about, face criminal charges and get held accountable for the disgusting things they did to women. Yet, many of us knew that this was a political cudgel, that these people were going to immediately abandon any semblance of principle the moment it turned on them. They pointed the finger at innocent people. They falsely accused people. They weaponized this. And passive leftists stood by and did nothing. And when we called it out, what did they say? You're biased. You are biased. You're right-wing. You're conservative. No, I'm sorry. Calling out lies and deception and fraud is not fake news. Stacey Abrams on Tara Reade assault allegation. I believe Joe Biden. I wonder, what happened to the phrase, believe all women or believe women? Oh, well, Stacey Abrams. See, she wants to be the vice president. She doesn't have any principles. She is just a sick monster who wants power and who will manipulate whoever they need to in order to get it. The New York Times said the story wasn't credible, even though there's new corroborating evidence. You see, this woman, Tara Reade, has multiple people coming forward saying they remember when she said it. There are documents about the complaint filed by Tara Reade that could be released if Joe Biden deems it so. He won't. And they won't release the documents until 2 years after Biden is out of public life. I do not believe Joe Biden is required to prove his innocence. What I am talking about here is not whether Joe Biden is a good or bad person. I am talking about the integrity of those who attacked and tried to destroy Brett Kavanaugh, among many other innocent men, and now turn their backs on an alleged victim, throwing any semblance of principle into the garbage disposal and turn that switch on as fast as they can. They never cared. They don't care. They want power and they will do anything to get it. It's not about Stacey Abrams. It's not. I get it. She wants to be the vice president, so of course she's going to come out and say, I believe Joe Biden. Oh yeah, keep kissing up to this man. Maybe he'll pick you. Fine. But take a look at this story from the Daily Beast. Now, I'm rather surprised. Typically, I find myself at odds with a lot of the Daily Beast's writing, notably because they have several reporters who literally just make things up, and I I can confirm that, but we'll leave that aside. They've made up a bunch of stuff. Why have women's groups gone dead silent on Biden assault accusation? In the wake of the Me Too movement, prominent women came forward expressing regret they didn't take allegations against then-President Bill Clinton seriously in the 1990s. Well, you see, these people hate Donald Trump. Joe Biden offers them really nothing other than a warm body for which to vote. So they will not call out what they see as what should be aligned with their values. Now, the Me Too movement, at its core, outside of the exploitation of these groups, I think did amazing things. Bravo. Some of these awful dudes, man, I'm glad to see them go. That's not the way that our culture and companies should be working. They're gone. Congratulations. To the innocent men who suffered under this, that's horrifying. I'm sorry I had to go through this. And I'm glad that many people were proven to be innocent, and we did see this taken too far. Many people saw it. There was one video I did about Keanu Reeves hover-handing everybody. You ever see that? Keanu Reeves, he goes up to women, and he just has his hand hovering. He won't touch them. And look, you know what, man? Some people try to argue it's just because he's a gentleman, and he wants to respect women. I don't buy it, dude. Look, come on. You can take a photo with someone and give him a hug. Keanu Reeves is a wealthy, famous celebrity. So what happens in the wake of the Me Too movement? He's not touching anybody, and he's a smart guy to do so. Because you never know when someone's going to be like, oh, how about what happened with, Neil deGrasse Tyson? He looked at a woman's tattoo, and she later came back 20 years, Me Too. Well, I'll tell you what we're seeing now. These Me Too feminist organizations refuse to say anything about Joe Biden. In fact, the Time's Up organization told Tara Reade, this is one of the big Me Too foundations, the big Me Too organizations, nonprofits, whatever, well, Joe Biden's running for president, so we can't represent you. It would be a conflict of 501c3 to 501c4 nonprofit rules and regulations. You get it. We can't interfere. Sorry. Joe Biden is immune from accountability. The dude is on camera touching people in creepy ways. He's apologized for it. We know he does this. Now, okay, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to stop. I don't want to make this about Joe Biden necessarily. I want to make it about all of these organizations, which we can now see are frauds. Take a look at this story. The Daily Beast of all outlets. Women's group and prominent feminist figures have remained almost universally silent over a former staffer's accusation of misconduct against former Vice President Joe Biden, including those individuals and groups who came to express regret for how the Democratic Party handled similar accusations made against Bill Clinton in the 1990s. You see, Bill Clinton's long gone. So when people started calling out Bill Clinton, saying, oh, you want to talk about Trump? What about Clinton? You never called him out. They came out and said, oh, we should have called out Bill Clinton. Oh, we're so regretful. You know, we'll make sure to do better next time. And the reason they did that was because Bill Clinton he's not in public life. He's not running for office. They had nothing to lose by saying this. Oh, Joe Biden. Yeah, see, he's running for president. Well, now if they call him out, they'll hurt his chances. No principles. You ask me why so often my videos are pointing the finger at the left and Democrats. Let me explain something to you. Breitbart and The Federalist do not have massive institutional power to swing how major advertisers act, how major social networks act, how politicians act, for the most part. They do have some influence in conservative circles, which do not have influence over universities. All of these organizations working with high-profile celebrities, influencing magazine covers, late-night TV hosts, that's establishment power. I don't care what one small conservative blog is doing. That in no way affects me. You know what does? When numerous high-profile, powerful, Democrat-funded organizations lie to gain power. That's what I call out. Has nothing to do with policy or team. It has everything to do with corruption. You want to call out Brett Kavanaugh? I think you're wrong. I didn't think there was any evidence there. You want to call out Joe Biden? I also think, for the most part, it's wrong. Innocent until proven guilty, and as a 30-year-old allegation, I'm not interested in playing. But now you have to reap what you've sown. And these organizations don't want to, because they never cared about what they claimed they cared about. It was a weapon against the right to accuse them of being pigs and evil. And that's the point. They get away with this. Now, to be fair, the Daily Beast is calling this out. A news organization that I've absolutely been critical of numerous times, even just a couple minutes ago. So I hope we can get some accountability from these people, but I really doubt it, because many of them believe in winning by any means necessary, and they hate Trump that much. Here's what they say. The collective non-response from mostly Democrat-aligned groups comes as potential female running mates struggle themselves in responding to the Biden allegation, which has the potential to upend his campaign against President Donald Trump, who has been accused of misconduct by dozens of women in alleged incidents spanning decades. And it echoes the division among progressives when the Me Too movement revived scrutiny of Clinton's own misconduct. The Daily Beast contacted 10 top national pro-women organizations for this story, including Emily's List, Planned Parenthood Action Fund, Narrow Pro-Choice America, and the National Organization for Women. Most organizations did not respond to a detailed request for comment about the allegations made by Tara Reid, a former staff assistant in Biden's Senate office, who has accused the former vice president of forcibly, let's just keep it one family friendly, assaulting her with his fingers in the 90s. Others replied and did not provide a statement. One prominent women's political group cited a scheduling conflict and asked to be kept, quote, in mind for other opportunities. And you know what? The Daily Beast will probably give it to him. When pressed if the following day would work better, an associate said it would not, citing another scheduling conflict. We're just too busy to give you a couple sentences about the allegations we all know about. Thank you. Yeah, right. The near total lack of acknowledgement from nearly a dozen leading pro-women organizations comes as new corroboration has emerged with respect to the allegation, which the Biden campaign has categorically denied. Neither the Biden campaign nor Reid responded to requests from the Daily Beast for comment on Tuesday. It is also taking place as prominent elected women in the Democratic Party rally to Biden's side. On Tuesday, Hillary Clinton became the latest to offer her endorsement of Biden's candidacy, a symbolic passing of the torch from one presidential candidate to another. but a moment that also served as a reminder of moments in recent party history when accusers were almost uniformly dismissed. Here we go. In 2017, attorney Patricia Ireland, who served as president of the National Organization for Women for the entirety of the Clinton administration, told the Washington Post that she wished he had done more to be supportive of Paula Jones, the former Arkansas state employee who made allegations against Bill Clinton during his time as governor. For Paula Jones, there were nice distinctions that people made. She didn't work for him. He didn't have the power to hire or fire her, Ireland said at the time, but that ignores the reality that he was a very powerful man. We also have, during the same period, feminist icon Gloria Steinem told The Guardian that she regretted some parts of her aggressive defense of Clinton during the Monica Lewinsky scandal, according to the New York Times op-ed, which she dismissed allegations of misconduct against the president. Even if the allegations are true, Steinem wrote in 1998, the president is not guilty of harassment. He is accused of having made a gross, dumb, and reckless pass. President Clinton took no for an answer. Steinem told The Guardian that, quote, I wouldn't write the same thing now because there's probably more known about other women now. I'm not sure. What you write in one decade, you don't necessarily write in the next. Okay, I can actually respect that 100%. I think it's silly to go back 30 years, well, in this case, just over 20 years, and say, ha, you should have known. Well, hindsight is 20/20. Now that she knows about the other women who have come out against Bill Clinton, perhaps she's having second thoughts. That I can respect. What about Joe Biden? Why aren't people going to call him out? I think it's clear to all of us. What they want is to manipulate the delicate and good nature of the average American, many of whom don't pay attention. And I'll tell you what scares me about the idea of mail-in voting. Now listen, I'm not on your team. I hope this is clear to everybody. I'm not on the team for the Republicans or the Democrats. Now the Democrats and the leftists like to say, oh, Tim Pool's clearly in the bag for Trump. No, sorry, that's just not the case. I am just looking for what makes the most sense. Your team means nothing to me. Now, I've heard from many people on the right, there's a fear of fraud when it comes to mail-in ballots. It's 100% true. There is. You'll get some parent filling out, or some, you'll get a person getting the ballot in the mail for, say, their kid or their parent, and being like, I'm just going to fill this out. But even before that, we have a serious problem in this country. Should people who don't want to vote and don't care to vote actually vote? There are some arguments for and against compulsory voting, but I certainly think we have a problem with people who vote when they don't want to, because they don't know, they don't care. Now, a lot of people who do want to vote also don't know. A lot, don't know anything about politics. Take a look at these stories, the allegations made, the fake news, the people who are unwilling to call out Joe Biden. And what do? You get manipulation and corruption. Imagine now, these ballots are mailed out, and you get a bunch of 18-year-olds who don't know or care about any of this and didn't even want to vote. You get some activist parent who sees all the outrage from all the feminists. Me too, Donald Trump, orange man bad. And sure, he's got accusations against him. But they won't call out Joe Biden. And so this goes over the heads and is completely missed by the people who might otherwise be angered by it. This manipulation will be used against Republicans. I think with mail-in voting, one of the big problems you'll see is that people, and listen, Democrats, listen, Republicans can do the same thing. You are going to get people who normally don't care and don't want to vote being tricked into voting for stupid things they might not want. I think ultimately it'll be bad for Republicans because we can see this. Now, do Republicans have sly, underhanded, manipulative tactics? Everybody does, called politics, man. But come on. We can see how the New York Times defended Biden. We can see how they write hundreds of articles against Brett Kavanaugh, but Joe Biden gets a freebie. Stacey Abrams gives him a freebie. All of these prominent organizations like Planned Parenthood give him a freebie. And now that no one's going to hear about it, they're going to say, well, we got to go with Joe Biden just because. What if you knew? What if these people had real principles and weren't trying to trick you and to steal your support? That's what I'm not interested in. Now, I'm not saying that Republicans wouldn't do necessarily the same thing. I think ultimately this is one of the biggest problems with mail-in voting, because you will certainly find in conservative districts and areas, older people telling, once again, people not interested, you got to vote for the Republican, you got to vote for Trump. We don't want that, do we? That's why I ultimately don't think it necessarily matters all that much. But I don't like the idea of people manipulating to gain power. And this is exactly what we're looking at. They have completely abandoned their feminist values, what they claimed were their feminist values, because they like Joe Biden. They want Biden to win. Neither Ireland nor Steinem responded to a request for comment about Reid's accusations against Biden. So all of that puff talk from Gloria Steinem, I should have been a bit more serious, and I wish I knew better about Clinton, but I'm not going to question Joe Biden. Nah, sorry. Yeah, no principles. Speaking to Fox News on Tuesday, Reid accused Hillary Clinton of enabling a predator. Hillary Clinton has a history of enabling powerful men to cover up their predatory behaviors and their inappropriate conduct, Reid said in a response to Clinton's endorsement. We don't need that for this country. We don't need that for our new generation coming up that wants institutional rape culture to change. Reid first accused Biden of, keep it family friendly, during a podcast she accused Joe Biden. Two other people, including Reid's brother and a friend who has remained anonymous, told various outlets that Reid had told them about certain aspects of the alleged assault and her subsequent dismissal from Biden's office over the years. On Monday, Business Insider quoted a former neighbor of Reid's recounting that the ex-staffer had disclosed details of the alleged assault when she lived next door to her in the mid-1990s. This happened, and I know it did because I remember talking about it, Linda Lacasse, Reid's former neighbor, told the outlet. On April 24th, Reid told The Intercept that her mother called into Larry King's cable news program. They found the episode. Reid said on Twitter that it was her mother's voice. This is my mom. I miss her. Biden's defenders have argued that Reid's story has changed over time. She previously had said only that she felt Biden had inappropriately touched her and made her feel uncomfortable. But assault victims' advocates have noted that it is common for victims to hold back on details as they recount their traumatic experiences. You got no out. You can say whatever you want. Sorry, no dice. Remember when Christine Blasey Ford said, I am scared to fly, and then was asked, don't you fly all the time? Yes. Or out, she said, I have to have 2 doors on my house because I've been traumatized by this moment from when I was younger. And then someone said, isn't she using her house as like an Airbnb or something? That's why she had 2 doors. Now, maybe I'm wrong. I'm sorry, not me. I mean, those were pointed by other people. Maybe those questions were incorrect. Okay, that's fine. What about this? Maybe the points made about Tara Reid are also incorrect. I'm not going to play silly games about Joe Biden and 30-year-old allegations because we're playing politics, and politics is dirty, and it can go in every direction. But to see the level of institutional power that was dropped on top of Brett Kavanaugh, he probably didn't see it coming, I'll tell you what. Fighting to sneeze, give me a second. To see that level of institutional power is absolutely, it's insane. And then sure enough, as we expected, many media outlets rushed to the defense of Joe Biden. The Washington Post says Trump allies are doing this. CNN says, well, Joe Biden does need to account for this, but it is mostly from conservative circles. Never mind the progressives. Never mind the Daily Beast or Mother Jones. They're trying as hard as they can. It's not working. But you know what? Here's the big takeaway. The claims of feminism, these beliefs, these principles, we now see through the veil, the facade, the lies. They're not feminist organizations. They're power-hungry megalomaniacs. They will say whatever they can to gain power. Look, I worked for several nonprofits for about just over 10 years ago. And I thought by working for these organizations, environmental organizations, civil rights organizations, I thought I'd be doing good. I thought that we could raise money for good causes, and this was the right way to change the world. And boy, did I learn fast. Because these were just companies that were willing to lie, cheat, and steal to gain whatever power they wanted, and they didn't actually solve any of these problems. It was all about keeping the sickness available. You see, a nonprofit organization, like many of these, should eventually cease to exist. Not all of them. Some of them provide ongoing services. But when you have a mission, and you say your mission is to accomplish something, nonprofits' goal should be to run themselves out of business. We want to save this species, blah, blah, blah. Well, eventually you raise enough money, you launch a campaign, you get some laws passed. Maybe it takes a long time, a couple decades, but eventually the species has been saved. Your job is done. What do these companies do? What do these nonprofits do? Do they say, we've done a good thing? We've accomplished our goals. Thank you to everyone who supported us. There's nothing left for us to do. No, they change their pick. They change the tune. They say, oh, but the new fight is this. Now we must do this. Because people don't want to lose their jobs. I get it. You want to keep making money. You got something good going on. You got name recognition. You got brand power. And that's what they do. Now, the story goes on to mention that various aides have said they have no recollection of any assault incident happening. And you know what? That's fine. Because I personally, I don't care. Look, I don't like that Joe Biden's being accused. My respect to anybody who's a victim who's saying this happened to me. I hear you. But there is a statute of limitations. There is innocent until the presumption of innocence. Joe Biden, I don't think, should have this held against them. I really don't. I don't like Biden. I don't think he's all there, but this is ridiculous. I'm sorry. Just as ridiculous as it was against Kavanaugh. But that's not the issue here. The issue here is that we can see just how fake the activists really are. How fast the feminists abandon their purported values when it becomes politically inconvenient. I'll leave it there. My next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. YouTube.com/Timcast. It is my main channel, and I will see you all then.